Hello, I'm Lara Kulcharsan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Spotify paid the music industry $10 billion in 2024. The company says it's the largest annual payout from any single retailer in history. But not all artists are seeing the big earnings. In fact, only 0.6% of Spotify's 225,000 artists are making significant cash, because the company doesn't pay artists or songwriters directly. Instead, Spotify pays about 70% of its revenue to rights holders, such as labels and publishers. These entities then control how the money is distributed to the artists, leaving many with only a fraction of the earnings, which amounts to on average 0.004 cents per stream. As a result, many musicians rely on touring, live shows, merchandise sales, and fan support for income.
So before the internet, everyone was buying albums, CDs, buying the music from the artist. Things have changed so drastically that now we're all subscribed to streaming platforms. And streaming platforms are not paying enough for artists to live and be artists.
A 2024 survey found that 70% of musicians were unhappy with their streaming revenue, and many are fighting back. This year, several Grammy-nominated songwriters boycotted a Spotify-hosted event. And in the past, some artists, like Taylor Swift, pulled their music from Spotify over low payouts. But is streaming really that bad for the industry?
People forget that 10, 15 years before that, nobody paid for music at all. Like, major labels were on the verge of collapse. It was just completely accepted that you would just pirate everything. I think we have to remember that it actually saved the sinking ship. And there's this sort of idea that all these niche musicians who are making like ambient techno, that once upon a time they were selling thousands of records and living this like lavish life. They weren't. It's a lot of people making underground niche music for enthusiasts. They were never going to be selling millions of records.
Spotify is the best thing that has happened to the music industry and artists. The discovery is absolutely massive. I think if it's used as an outcome for people to be able to listen to your music and discover you and then build up the fan base in order for us to monetize, now it's bloody brilliant. It's amazing. It's great.
Streaming has indeed made music more accessible than ever. But what you hear on Spotify isn't always just about your taste. The platform often prioritizes music that's cheaper for the company to promote. Spotify is also known for its massive collection of curated playlists. From workout anthems to sleep sounds, there's a playlist for everything. And many listeners now prefer those over full albums. That shift is putting new pressure on musicians. To stay on these playlists, artists feel the need to create algorithm-friendly, commercially safe tracks. Some say it's limiting creativity.
Listen to this like before you go on a date, if you want to feel confident and sexy, or just like when you're getting ready for basically anything. This is for when you want to be like, man, life is really good and I want to feel that. This is for after you just got done crying for a really long time and you're like, actually things aren't that bad. This is post-breakup, but not the sad part, like the angry part. This is perfect for rainy days when you're just like, I'm just gonna be inside and enjoy my life. I love crying, especially in the car, so it's for crying in the car.
US President Donald Trump's drastic cuts to the education budget could have a devastating impact on schools and higher learning institutions. The Department of Education is set to lay off over 1,300 of its staff. That's nearly half of its workforce. The plans are part of Trump's budget cuts.
I don't think people realize what would happen if the Department of Education was shut down tomorrow. So here's 4 key programs that would be impacted the most. The first one, Title I funding. Title I schools could lose essential funding that directly impacts an estimated 2.8 million students in low-income communities. And just to clarify, schools can use Title I funds if at least 40% of their student population is low income. Oftentimes though, that percentage is a lot higher. The second program is IDEA, which provides special education services to about 7.5 million students. Now, these are students with specific learning disabilities, students with language disorders, students with developmental delays, students with ADHD, and students with autism, just to name a few. The third program that would be impacted is a department that protects students against discrimination based on race, gender, and disability. This means students would have zero protection against schools, which is a pretty big deal. And the last one is Pell Grants and federal student loan programs would also be gone. This means students who rely on federal loan programs to pay for higher education would have to find private loans instead. And we all know that private loans don't have the best terms, leaving many students unable to fund their education.
When the Department of Education started in 1979, it had three main objectives. Firstly, to administer federal funding for education, which currently stands at more than $1 trillion. Secondly, to enforce federal education laws that relate to civil rights and equal access. And last but not least, to collect and analyze data on schools and students. So now, the big question, what's next?
How do you think teachers are going to stand for that? You think these teachers are going to have all these students flood back into the classroom with no support? We want to teach them. We love teaching all. But you didn't give us no support, you didn't give us no money. What do you think is going to happen next? Yeah, we're going to have another wave. Another wave of teachers are quitting. Now, this next domino, it make my stomach hurt a little bit, but teachers, I think y'all need to be aware. You are in a potential position to get paid. It's tutoring season. That's right. And the Sylvans, the Kumans, they ain't got nothing on what we can do in those relationships we can build with those students outside that classroom. But the parents are going to be calling because these classrooms are going to fall apart for all students, not just the ones with 504 and IPs. They're going to be looking for that academic support because everybody wants their child to be successful. They're going to see them suffering in school. They're going to know that they're in a classroom of 30 kids and one teacher that's struggling, that's stressed out, that's calling out sick most of the week. So they're going to be calling you. And we get to charge $150 to $200 an hour. We probably even go more than that depending on our credentials. Listen, money season is here, and all that's gross. That's not why we got the job. That's not why we got to the job.
Another day, another K-drama, literally. Actor Kim Sae-ron is under fire for dating the late Kim Sae-ron when she was underage. 24-year-old Sae-ron killed herself on Soo-yun's birthday on February 16th. Her family is claiming her death is related to Soo-yun, one of Korea's biggest stars with global fame. Before this tragic event in 2022, Sae-ron had a drunk driving accident, which led to her being dropped from every project and becoming buried in debt. Korean media outlets ran nearly 2,000 stories about Sae-ron, dragging her through the mud. Let's break down the allegations according to Sae-ron's aunt.
Sae-ron was 15 and Kim Soo-hyun was 27 years old, and they dated for 6 years. So the two started dating in 2015 November, and in 2019 November, Kim Sae-ron joins Kim Soo-hyun's agency, Gold Medalist. This is a label that Kim Soo-hyun started with his cousin. Between here and 2021, they break up. 2022 May is when Kim Sae-ron has the DUI accident.
She hit an electrical box, which made a couple businesses go out of business for a couple days. She owed these businesses a lot of money, and she didn't have that money back then.
The agency was very kind enough to offer to pay for the damages on her behalf. The amount borrowed in US dollars is $500,000.
Fast forward to March 2024, Gold Medalist sends Kim Sae-ron a document saying she owes the agency 700 million Korean won. This most likely are the damage fees for all the projects that Kim Sae-ron was a part of before the DUI accident. Kim Sae-ron sends a text to Kim Soo-hyun basically saying, please don't sue me. It's not that I don't want to pay you back, but I don't have the money. Please help me. Apparently there was no sort of response from Kim Soo-hyun, which is what triggered her to post this photo on her story. His agency, Gold Medalist, released a statement stating that the allegations being made against him are false. In response, the Cyberleka released more intimate photos of Kim Sae-ron and Kim Soo-hyun.
Sae-ron faced relentless online attacks, and now the same K-netizens who tore her apart are suddenly full of sympathy. We've seen many celebrities suffer from online bullying and backlash with tragic results. Yet, the cycle continues, particularly for female stars who seem to bear the brunt.
Throughout the time, ever since the accident till when she posted a selfie, she was getting a lot of hate and criticism from Korea, saying that she's just doing that for attention.
After the incident, she shared that she had been going through financial troubles and had been working part-time jobs. However, Korean netizens believed these to be simply acts to gain some pity from the public and claimed that she was faking it for the photos and bashed her even more. The actress reportedly had to even change her name to hide her identity when getting part-time jobs, since she would get repeatedly fired once bosses found out who she was.
Pretty dreadful and callous. That's how Australians are reacting to the video posted by a US nature and hunting influencer that shows her snatching a baby wombat away from its mother. Australians are so angry at Sam Jones that the government was considering kicking her out of the country. On Friday, amid intense public pressure, Sam left Australia on her own accord. She had removed the video from her socials, but it was a little too late as the video was everywhere already.
You know, I suggest to this so-called influencer, maybe she might try some other Australian animals. Take a baby crocodile from its mother and see how you go there.
US influencer Sam Jones has faced massive criticism over this video of her stealing a baby wombat from its mother. The Prime Minister has even weighed in on it.
To take a baby wombat from its mother and clearly causing distress from the mother is just an outrage.
And so has the Home Affairs Minister, Tony Burke, who is now investigating whether or not she's breached her visa. If the influencer made any money off this post, that means that she's no longer technically on a tourist visa. Sam Jones describes herself as a wildlife biologist and environmental scientist, but veterinarian Tanya Bishop told the ABC that what she did could have caused serious harm to the wombat. She's since deleted the video and now left the country, to which Tony Burke remarked there's never been a better day to be a baby wombat in Australia.
When it comes to art and music, everyone has an opinion and their own interpretation. A video of a young critic called Miles on socials has charmed the internet with his confidence and his sassiness. The video was first filmed at the Met Museum in New York last year, and it's now doing the rounds again.
Think about this one. It's called Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh.
Just to be honest, I don't like that one.
Why not?
It's a little, not to be offensive, but it's a little boring. I think it just is not the one for me.
What do you think about this? This is the girl with the pearl earring.
What's so exciting about that?
Like, a lot of adults like this painting.
Well, that's obvious because a lot of adults, I think they just want to be nice.
You think they're being polite?
Yeah.
It's called The Scream.
I like it.
What do you like about it?
Because he's like, oh.
We got a professional Met member here.
Art needs to have emotion in it.
What kinds of feelings?
Sad, happy, mad, surprised. Because it's what makes it art. It's what you feel. It's like.
What happens when an artist makes art that just doesn't have any emotion in it?
I think it's a piece of, ordinary trash.
And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.